Hoka, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita live stream of August the 30th, 2024. How would Alita fare in the Old West? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, Creek Indian from Denver, Colorado, actually Littleton, Colorado. And with me from Fountain, Colorado is Lee. How's it going, Lee?
Oh, pretty good.
Cool. Well, up. I kind of blew it there, pushing the wrong buttons like I always do.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, Angelus, I'm not sure if he's working or not. You know, he has a weird schedule, so he may not. He may or may not join us. I don't know, but that's okay. So, what's it like down there in Fountain, there, Lee? Is it hot?
It's good and warm, not too terribly hot. Pretty cool in
Yeah,
the apartment, so it's comfortable.
yeah. It's yeah. I guess it's like 81 degrees in the house here, which is for me is comfortable. I mean, it's not too bad. You know, I got fans going, so it's not too bad at all. Um, yeah, and Smendrick's not going to join us because it is extremely hot over there in Deutschland. I think he said it was something like 33 degrees Celsius, whatever. I'd have to do my calculations. I think that would be something like
That's
91 or 92 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that.
yeah, that's up there.
Yeah, and it's in his apartment. It's you know, it is definitely a lot you know, a lot hotter, I guess, than it would be outside. By the way, if anybody wants to come on the stream, here is the link. All you got to do is click on it. It's I just popped it into the chat, so you just click on that, and we'll bring you in, and you know, we'll have a good chat about Alita, I guess. Before we get to the main topic, one of the things I'm so excited about that Charlie Smith and I are going to be doing is we're going to be going to the Pasadena Playhouse on September the 14th, and we're going to the 2 o'clock show, and we are going to see our queen perform. I think she's playing Roxanne which is the main female character in there, where I guess Cyrano de Dvorak and the other guy who I can't remember his name. Now it's been so long since I've seen I saw it on television many years ago. That's kind of their love interest. I guess the other guy, you know, kind of loves Roxanne, and so does Cyrano. But Cyrano kind of, I guess he's real self-conscious about his nose, and he
Mhm.
doesn't think Roxanne will love him and stuff like that, so he gives the other guy advice, and I guess he originally tries to live vicariously through the other guy who's a friend of his, but eventually, I guess, I don't know if it's jealousy or what, it kind of overtakes him, and they get into a tiff or whatever, you know, and I can't remember who wins out on winning our girl, or not, she's not a girl, our queen's heart in the movie, but I mean, not the movie, in the play. But we're going to find that out on September the 2nd, Charlie and I, and we are really looking forward to it. You know, it's God, 2 weeks to go. I mean, you know, and that's when I'm flying to LA on the 13th, and then meeting Charlie down at the theater, you know, down at the Pasadena Playhouse about 1 hour before the play. He wants to show up early. And I guess it's a good idea to do that because even though we got reserved seats already, you know, who knows what the traffic's like and stuff like that. You know, and
Yeah, true.
yeah, I'm staying pretty close to it. I'm only like 5 or 6 blocks away from it, you know, or less, maybe half a mile at best. And push come to shove, I can take Uber over there or a taxi. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, but you know, I think Charlie, he lives out a ways. He has to take the train into to L.A. and then. But we're going to meet up, and the reason why we're going to know each other is because we both have Alita Army shirts, and I sent him his today, so he should be getting it by the middle of next week, I think. And you know, just stand around out front waiting for either one or the other. Who gets there first waits for somebody with a black polo shirt with or a golf shirt, actually, is what it is, or a polo shirt with the Alita Army, you know, logo on it. We'll know who each other are, you know. So, and sitting down in the front row, which is going to be real fun, you know. And we want to
Hmm.
try to give Rosa. we want to give her a rose with a little note on it if we can. You know, I haven't called the Playhouse. I want to double check with them to see if it's okay. You know, it'd be something we would do after the play, not before the play, because we don't want to be disruptive or anything like that. You know, we definitely want to you treat our queen with respect here. You know, so anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I am really looking forward to it. You know,
Huh?
it's going to be cool. Any thoughts, Lee? Do you wish you were going?
A little bit torn on that. As much as it
Yeah,
does sound like it'd be a
Hello.
great time,
yeah.
I have some anxiety problems around crowds like that,
Ah,
and
okay.
I hate cities.
Oh, do you? Well, Fountain's not a very big city, so I guess you're in
No, it's a
good shape.
town, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
one of the reasons I like being here.
yeah. And from, I guess, central Midwest or whatever of the UK and the
In
Shires,
no
we have
man's land.
Blotty, no man's land. That's right. But we have Blotty. How's it going, Blotty?
Gruel Scott.
Well, Smendrick's not going to be here, so but Gru Scott, back to you. So,
You knew what it meant. That's good. He told me to say that. I was just finishing off streaming that Cyberpunk detective game.
oh, how did it work this time?
Yeah, it worked fine. It's just like it only saves at certain points, so I had to wait for it to get to a point so I could leave.
Ah, I see.
That's why I'm a bit late. Couldn't
Yeah,
just
no
save whenever I wanted.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. You know, I mean, we run a pretty loose ship here. We don't, you know, this is
Exactly. I assume
yeah.
Angelus is still in bed.
I'm not sure. I don't know if Angelus is working or not. You know, maybe he is. I'm not sure about that. You know, but
Yeah.
if he doesn't show up, that's okay. I don't worry about that too much. You know. So anyway, but we were just, I was just, I guess, swooning over our queen here. We're really, Charlie and I are just so looking
Coming up
forward to
soon,
this.
isn't it?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right. Creek gets on the plane in 2 weeks to fly down there to see our queen perform. Man, that is
Oh my
going to be
God.
super duper duper, is what that's going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
She must
really
be rehearsing like crazy right now.
probably, yeah, she probably is.
Rehearsing every day. This was announced quite quickly, and then it just was happening in a few weeks.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm going to be promoting a video on starting on Sunday, a Rosa Salazar video on my channel, hoping that people see that. You know, and I got a little line on the in the description about Rosa, you know, performing in the Pasadena Playhouse starting on
Yeah.
September 2nd is when she starts, I think.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully, folks will, you know, get out there and you know watch our queen perform. You know, so you know we shall see, I guess. So. But anyway, our queen is pretty, and she's going to do a great job. So I'm no doubt about that. You know, because
She
she's a
always
great
does.
actress. Yeah, she does. Okay, well, the creek could stay on this slide for another hour, but I better not do that. And we still have Rosa's Queen Studios bust. You know, we never heard back from anybody about taking it to LA. So, you know, it's going to stay here in the house, you know, and that's okay, you know, because it's not hurting me in any way, you know. I mean, it's sitting in one of my rooms there, and it's still in the box, you know. So it's
Taking up the whole room.
no, not really.
The
You know,
whole room for Alita.
yeah.
She deserves it.
Well, yeah, she does actually, but it doesn't take up the whole room. But that's okay,
Oh.
you know. And my house is like a split level. It's not, you know, I got like it looks like one room, but since it's a split level, it's like three rooms, but it's only one room. So you know, anyway, it is what it is. So, but we want to give this to Rosa, but not give it to her as a gift. This is going to be an award from the Alita Army to our Queen Rosa for the great job, not only that she did on Alita, which she did a fantastic job on Alita, but on other, you know, roles that she's played in movies and shows and stuff like that, you know. And we definitely want to express our admiration and appreciation and affection for our queen because we really love Rosa. You know, everybody in the Alita Army is just well, we're all in love with Rosa. You know, so it's cool. You know, oh, what's my phone doing down there? Damn it! So anyway, but anyway, we're looking forward to that, and I suspect when we probably end up giving it to her is when they green light the Alita sequels. Then probably, you know, she'll probably get it. So, you know, and that's when we'll present it to her.
Yeah. So got to hang on to it a little while longer, Creaky.
Oh yeah, that's all right. It's not a problem.
She's melting in there. I'm
Nah,
melting.
I don't think so. It's not that hot here, you know.
Good. You got to
And guess
keep
what?
them air conditioned.
Guess who just showed
What?
up?
Angelus.
There he is. Good day, mate.
Good day, mates.
How's it going
Howdy.
there,
Good
Angelus?
day to you, sir.
Angelus from Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. So anyway, he's
Couldn't they change it to Kingsland now?
well, I think it became Queensland when Victoria was queen, wasn't it?
Exactly. Now we've got a king.
Yeah, but they I bet they don't change the name.
No.
Should. Out
So
of
how's it
respect.
going? How's it going down under there, Angelus?
That's good. Just making sure that I got my daily bread, metaphorically speaking, which is random chicken roll and ultra rosa energy drink.
Nice. Yeah, we were just talking about this, so I wanted to throw that back up there because the creek really likes these two photos. The uwu, that's right. So anyway, so you know, but anyway, I was just telling them that, you know, Charlie and I are really looking forward to it. You know, going to see her. You know, that's going to be great. And we are sitting just about in the center, not quite in the center, off to the left a little, but you know, it's you know, I mean, we were on the front row, so it's going to be a hoot, man. We're going to have a great time watching that play. And we still got the Alita sequel petition going, and we've added in the last 2 weeks, I think, is when I started the promotion, I believe, on my channel. And you know, it didn't add as many as I would have hoped, but we still got picked up like 11, I think it is, or maybe 13. I can't have to go back and look. I think it was at 178, 226 when I started the promotion, I think. So it's 13, I guess. In the last couple of weeks, maybe 3. So it's still plugging along. We're still adding signatures every week, you know. So, you know, if you have not signed the petition, please, there's the link. That link is also down in the description below the screen here. Just click on it, enter your name and your email, and you have you've signed the petition. Now, what the Creek is going to do, I'm going to take Lottie's advice on this one. I'm gonna go and slap $100 into this thing, you know, for promotion, you know, on change.org and see what it does. You know, I mean, because when I promoted it with my channel, it added a few signatures, but probably not as much as I had hoped for, you know. So anyway,
Yeah, definitely try that instead. So I think it will add a lot more signatures.
hopefully, you know. But anyway, I'll put that in there. I guess I'll have to. Well, I guess you don't have to sign the petition to support, do you? Because I've already signed it, so you know it wouldn't up the numbers. I guess I could sign in with another user ID, but that's cheating, so we don't want to do that. So, but anyway,
the Pasadena slide for a second.
Sure thing, and no problem doing that.
The guy on the bottom right, Will Hockman.
Bottom right.
He plays
Bottom left, you mean, right?
bottom left. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
He plays a detective called Joe Hill on a TV series called Blue Bloods.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that.
Focused solely in New York City.
Oh, that's Tom Selleck's
And-
thing, isn't it? Or it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to quickly say that now that he's on the panel with us, that he kind of actually reminds me a little bit of Vladi.
What, the cop in Blue Bloods?
Yeah, like
How so?
I don't know, just
You mean
just
favors him?
demeanor. He's got like a slight twinge to his accent, so it's not your usual American accent. And technically, they all
Does he have a
from,
righteous obsession with getting justice for someone?
Funny enough, he does. Yeah.
because he
I
doesn't
assume that's
really.
what we reminded him of.
Well, he doesn't really look like Blotty to me, but you know, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm
But
way more handsome.
Uh,
Why are you
but
laughing?
because it's funny.
funny,
What?
it's funny you should.
We're
mention-
kidding you, Blotty.
It's funny you should mention that because there's one episode where where his father's headstone, because his father, so Tom Selleck's character, which is oh, I forget his name now. Obviously, the family name is called Reagan,
Mm.
and but so his father and Tom Selleck's character's son, so his grandfather and grandson, the headstone gets vandalized and like semi-destroyed, and basically he's commands the son, because he's also a police officer, to
Yeah.
not like investigate it because he had some
Uh-huh.
also some sort of other like investigative, oh, what's the word for it, like team or thinger that they were doing for like some other major crime syndicate, and he goes, fuck that, and goes and investigates it anyway, because that's his father's gravestone, and basically disobeys a direct order from the police commissioner, all in the name of justice.
Does he play Cyrano de Bergerac, or is he? Do you know? Do you know Angelus? Or
No,
I have no
I
idea.
just the moment that I saw Rose's co-stars, it's his face that sort of
oh, I see.
was like immediately familiar to me. So when I looked it up and realized that he played the same person, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can actually find out. Hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be great going to see Rosa playing this thing, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I wish I could be there.
I am stoked about it, Jack. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Have you got a reasonable camera?
Just my phone, but it shoots
Okay.
4K, I think. So it's.
Oh wow, the London Times has reviewed this for some reason.
Oh yeah,
They've
what'd they
called
say about?
mesmerizing, glittering, unforgettable.
No.
The London Times.
Nice.
Why would the London Times interview it?
Maybe they got a secret showing of some sort.
maybe they got Hunter Warrior as part of their crew, and you snuck in and edited
But,
the
like,
article on it.
nobody in London. I suppose someone in London might see it.
Well, it's going to be playing there from September the 2nd to September 29th, I think, is when it.
Okay, so Cyrano is the top left guy.
Oh, the black dude. Okay,
The black dude, yeah.
And the guy on the bottom left, he's going to be the guy that Cyrano is advising.
Yeah, it says on their Instagram, for the bottom left guy, he may not be the sharpest sword in the battalion, but the image speaks for itself. Meet Christian, the new guy in town and our favorite himbo around. God, this is so... Roxanne is the name of his latest crush, but his game needs some work and a poet's touch.
Yeah.
God, that was such Gen Z language cringe.
Well, I can see why he would have a crush on Roxanne.
Of course, yeah. Wait, let me see what they said about Rosa on her post.
Okay.
Witty, winsome. What does winsome mean?
I don't know. That's
Winsome.
an
Is that
older
supposed
word.
to be handsome, but does she win a lot? Like,
I don't know.
winsome means attractive or appealing in a fresh, innocent manner.
So Alita.
I've
Yeah,
learned
Alita.
exactly. Yeah, I need to use that to describe Alita. And admired by all, she's Roxanne,
Alita.
the smartest one in the room, but clueless that she's the heartthrob at the center of a love triangle. See Rosa Salazar as Roxanne in this modern take on the timeless tale of, how do you say it? Cyrano de Bergerac.
Cyrano de Bergerac.
De Bergerac. Oh, Cyrano de Bergerac. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Creek's looking forward to it.
Yeah, Rose is looking cute as heck. Oh,
Yeah,
and
she
she's got
is.
she's got the Latina Awards coming up.
Yeah, she
That's going to be
does.
amazing. She's definitely going to that.
Yeah.
Well, what's that called again? Latina or something?
I don't know.
Oh,
Should
I'll
be in the
look it
notes,
up
man.
later. I remember last time when I was still technically it's I can link it back to this, but when I had my what I call my Europe vacation with the family, London was part of it, and one of the things that people always say that when you go to London, always do this or that is to see a live theatre show. So that's
Oh, yeah.
exactly what I did.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the original one that we did want to see, which was Michael, like based on Michael Jackson, like it was a Michael Jackson show. That was like sold out, or we couldn't get tickets to it. So the second one we got was like a story that it was based on Queen,
Mm.
Oh, yeah. We Will
the
Rock You.
band. Yeah,
Is it called We Will
and
Rock You? That?
I believe so. Yeah, and it was amazing. Like just like there's something special about a live performance.
Definitely. Can't beat it.
That that has its appeal, or endearing appeal, that it'll be there for all of time. And the fact that Creaky gets to see Rosa perform live
Oh yeah, I do.
is like, I'm just jealous.
All jelly. You're all jelly. Yeah, it's going to be great, man. I'm telling you, I'm really hyped up about it. And
I-
like I say every week, though, I'm going to be super respectful, man. I'm not gonna make any noise or any bullshit like that. I'm just gonna sit there and enjoy the show because our queen is gonna knock it out of the park. That's the way I see it. So
No, every 5 seconds you need to shout, "Where's my Alita sequel?"
no,
In the
we're
middle
not
of the
doing it.
show.
We're not doing that, Vladdy. We're not gonna do that.
Just pretend you're like retarded or something.
No. Well, I am retarded, I guess. But no, I'm going to be super respectful, man.
Of course,
Because
yeah.
I'm going to really
Obviously
enjoy
joking.
this. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great story. I'm interested to see like the modern take on it too.
Yeah, and I haven't been to a play. Oh my gosh, since 2008, I think, or 2007, somewhere in that area. They have a pretty nice playhouse there in Western Virginia, not West Virginia, Western Virginia. At I can't remember the name of the little town now, but they've had pretty big people play there. And my second wife and I went to see a couple of plays there. But and that was a lot of fun. But this is not. It's not going to be anything like this. This is going to be super duper, and it's going to be so. What's going to be really? It's going to strike me as funny is that Rose's character Roxanne not being aware that she's got two guys that have big time crushes on her. But she'll also have two guys in the audience sitting in the first row to have big time crushes on her too. But we're going to be very quiet, so we're not.
Who doesn't have a big time crush on Rose? I nearly said Alita again.
Yeah. Well, Rose
Well,
is the
you
lead.
wouldn't be
Everyone
wrong.
who sees her has a big time crush on Rosa.
Oh yeah, Rose is she's really great, man. I tell you, and it doesn't hurt at all that she's cute either. I mean, she's got that ooh woo going. So anyway, let's get off of this. The Creek could stay on that slide forever.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we want to keep moving, lest we make fools out of ourselves. So anyway, sign the Alita sequel petition if you have not. Just enter your name and your email, and you've signed it. If you want to give money, you can, but you don't have to. All you got to really just go sign it, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. In other words, you don't have to click on that support now button. You can just put your name and email address on there. And we got the Alita Gaming Network going on. And I think what I'm going to try to do this week is we are going to play a movie. Nobody's sent me any DMs or texts or anything like that that says, "Hey, Creek, let's play this movie. Let's play that movie."
Yeah, I
we're
never plan far enough ahead to think of stuff like that.
well, exactly. I mean, and I get it. So anyway, I've been thinking of maybe of playing that movie Soldier. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a pretty good movie. Uh, and basically, I guess I can rent it, for a couple of days and then play it, that kind of thing. Or I might just play, you know, another movie. I got a whole bunch of movies saved on my YouTube channel, in my free movies private playlist, and just play one of those, So, but we're going to pick one thing, and we'll probably do this on Wednesday, I guess. And well, actually, Monday would be best for me because I don't really do anything on Monday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, of course, I'm doing a stream. Saturday, I'm doing a stream with Radio Chaos. And then Sunday, I go work out, although I am free in the afternoon. And then Monday, I'm free all day. So, yeah, we'll think of something, and I'll pop it in notifications or something that we're going to have a movie, on the gaming network on either Monday or Wednesday, and just play the movie, and have fun with that. We did actually do a test on that too, Smendrick, and our AR-11 and AR-12 girls, that being Panini Freak and Random Bomb. We played basically that Star Trek short that Rosa was in, and that's a really cute little thing. It's only about 30 minutes or less, somewhere in that area, but it's kind of neat, and we played that and Smendrick and I worked on it for a while because, it's to me, it's not self-evident, how well it works or how you do it, because when I started playing it, I was playing an MKV file and Smendrick couldn't hear the voices. He could hear the music, but he couldn't hear the people talking. So I don't know if it was something on his sound system or whatever. But what I will do is I will play an MP4 file is what I do, and that will come across, because I think all of the sound is on one track. So I think it plays better in MP4s. So, but if you want to join, there is the link down below, and that's kind of I think that's a first come first serve. So once you click on that thing, nobody else can get on it if you're the first one. So if you have that situation, you click on it and it doesn't let you join, it just takes you to Discord, then shoot me a DM or a text and I'll send you a invite myself so you can join it if you want. And of course, I just got through talking about this. We're going to play a movie. Now, if you got any suggestions in the chat, by all means, go ahead and tell me what movie you would like to see. And of course, I know what movie we would all like to see because we've all seen it about 80 times, at least the Creek has. But, if I get a big enough demand for it, heck, we'll play that movie. It doesn't matter to me, So, but we're going to play a movie this coming week.
What movie?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to take suggestions.
Yeah, take suggestions, and if I don't hear anything in the next day
Yeah.
or so, I'll probably play something off my private free movie playlist,
Yeah.
something like that. Or
The
something
thing is,
off,
if I really wanted to watch something, I'd probably just rather watch it on my own
yeah.
rather than
Well,
through a Discord video with loads of people talking.
Let me
right.
put it to both the panel and live chat.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there's like a few people out there that's, or by chat I mean those that might even play it back. Vladdy raises a very good point. Most of the time you just want to just
Always.
relax and watch a movie by yourself, and that's completely fine. But for example, when I had my US trip, and I said that one of the things that you know, I wanted to add to the itinerary is Austin, Texas. Like that's my deal breaker. If we don't go there, then I don't really want to go at all, because all the other places actually, like 90% of the other places, I'd already been there before. You know, New York, Niagara Falls, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So when I got there, and the fact that I got not only meet Creaky but Mario as well, Mr. Ovals, 1939.
Yep.
You know, that was and is the highlight of my trip. So the question that I put to the panel as well as live chat is, what movie would you like to see if you could see it with any of the Hunter Warriors, like friends for life that you've made within the fandom? So what movie would I like to watch with Creaky or with Vladdy? I know I'll probably like make a joke, crack a joke and say I'd like to watch I don't know, Alien Resurrection with Vladdy.
Or something, yeah.
You mean Romulus? I think you mean Jamie Romulus.
Yep. Well, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, so yeah,
Captain
suggest
Marvel.
that, then
Yeah, I'm having trouble deciding which one would be.
Get Out.
Yeah, whether it be a joke one or a serious one or what.
No. Hey, if that's what you wanted to watch with
Well, if
so you can both bag out.
folks want to
pre-love.
watch Alita, we can watch Alita. I have no problem watching Alita whatsoever. If you want to
Yeah,
do
me
that,
neither.
it's our inaugural movie. Maybe that would be the way to frame it. I guess, you know, the first movie
Yeah.
on the gaming channel might be Alita. You know,
I
I don't know.
was thinking like we could watch Alita on Alita Day, but then I was thinking I
Ah,
probably just want to watch it by myself that day, to be honest.
okay. Well, Alita Day
Because
is
I haven't watched it for a while, so I'd rather watch it
yeah.
in a setting where I can really focus.
Well, Alita Day is going to be a week from Tuesday, so
Yeah, coming
yeah.
up. We haven't
Yes,
planned anything. I think it's just going to be a chilled out Alita Day. We need an announcement or something.
yeah, we do.
Like, I can't keep giving all my energy and there's just nothing coming back from them.
Well, I don't see Vladdy. I don't look at it that way. I mean, I do what I do on my channel and for Alita and for Rosa. I do it because I love doing it. You know, for
Yeah.
me, I don't need to hear back from them. If I do, great. You know, I'd love that, but that's not a requirement. I don't have to hear back from them to like what I'm doing. So,
All right.
you know, so
I'm actually going to
that's
make a suggestion.
okay.
Aliens.
Ah, that is a
Oh,
good
yeah, that'll be cool.
movie. Yeah, Aliens.
Why not Alien?
It's more
From Top
horror
Gun.
than military
Yeah.
action adventure, and
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge horror fan. I don't mind them, but it's just never been my thing, really.
Yeah.
And I like having the Marines in that one. It makes it more military action adventure type.
And
Yeah,
and
that's a good idea.
they do use some of that what is actually what we would call guerrilla talk, you know,
Mhm.
throughout that movie. You know, because I know I've worked with military guys when I worked for DoD as a civilian. I worked with a lot of military guys, and a lot of those phrases that were familiar to me.
Mhm.
You know, like look into my eye.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, you know, and that kind of thing, you know, and the day in the Marine Corps is like a day on the farm. That's another one. So anyway, but anyway, yeah, the Creek was never in the Marine Corps. So anyway, that's the way that works out. But okay, aliens. That's there's a suggestion, and I'll get to work on. I think it may be on. It might be, I guess, on YouTube, but I'll find it somewhere, you know, and then we'll see what we can do about it, and maybe play it on maybe Monday. We'll see how it works, you know, because yeah, the middle of the week on is kind of tough for me, you know, because I got powerlifting prep for my next competition that's coming up in about 9 weeks, and we're really going to start hitting it here in the next week or two. So you know.
Oh.
So, we hit it pretty good yesterday, but, it's going to really get more and more intense as we get closer, So, anyway, that's another story. So anyway, okay, I got Aliens. So what I'll do is I will look for that and I will send out something on, I'll definitely send it out on the gaming network. I'll send it out on Twitter and I'll send it out on Instagram, probably, maybe even on Reddit. I don't know if we got any. Well, I guess some of the folks on the gaming channels, but they have Reddit user IDs. So anyway, Aliens. Yeah, I like that movie. So
Righty.
okay. Excuse me. All right, now let's talk. Let's get to the main topic. Unless you guys want to go back and look at those pictures of Rosa again. So, so anyway, this came to mind to me because, well, for one thing, that Alita, the world of 2563 that is portrayed in the movie is a lot, and also the Badlands arc is a lot like the Old West. I mean, and when I say the Old West, at least our concept of it now, certainly I think, the thought that gunfights happened every day in Main Street in Old West towns is really not true. The murder rate in New York City in the 1870s was actually higher than it was in Tombstone, Arizona, or Dodge City, Kansas. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot higher. But I guess the lore or the folklore of it is that there were a lot of gunfights and stuff like that. Indians were always attacking people, which is also not true.
Yeah.
I mean, there certainly were some, conflicts, but, for sure, but it wasn't a daily occurrence,
Did
but
you watch Horizon Part 1?
no, I have not watched that.
Oh, I thought it was quite. It was a cool. It was like the last Western movie I watched, so I thought I might as well mention it.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Costner's like passion project.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the story was a bit of a muddle, but I like the effort put into it, and I like the world and all that, and it looked really nice. But it did really badly, so they cancelled the part 2. It was supposed to come out this month, and I was looking forward to it. It would be like the first time they released a movie, and then part 2 came out like a couple months later.
Yeah.
And the old couple that were in there who saw it at the same time as me, we had a little conversation at the end, and they were also excited for it. And we've just been completely let down by Warner Brothers, being cowards.
You don't mean they're like Disney, do you, Lottie?
Well, they're all the studios are the same, really.
Yeah, they don't want to take risks, I guess, Anyway, here's Alita, and I thought, now these are just some of the thoughts I had, if she was teleported back to the 1870s, what would she be? I mean, what could she do? I mean, certainly there's my list. A gunfighter would be one, an outlaw. Some of these, now we got some slides coming up, so we don't have to stick on the slide. One I really think she would do, probably would be good at, would be bounty hunter. Even back then, she'd be real good. And the Creek, since her uncle is an Indian, or at least part Indian, yeah, she could be an Indian, and I'd be okay with that. Of course, prospector, being in the U.S. Cavalry and being a town sheriff, or a town marshal, I guess is what they called him way back when. The sheriff was more of a county, kind of a position, whereas the town marshal was more, just for
a very localized sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of thing. Now there were U.S. marshals back then; that was a little different. And then, of course, stagecoach driver. I don't know about that one. So anyway, that was the thoughts I have. So keep, kind of put a pin in that last bullet because we're going to get to that thing eventually. And this is kind of what I think she would be probably more inclined to do. For instance, the reason why I say gunslinger, that doesn't mean she's going to be evil. I mean, she could just be a professional gunfighter, and they had those back then.
Yeah.
And not all of them were evil. They were hired for various reasons, and it could be something like similar to security or something like that. is basically what it was.
Mhm.
Certainly, I think she'd be a great bounty hunter because she, in the movie and in the manga, and I think even in the anime, she was a hunter warrior. I mean, she was a bounty hunter. So I
In the
think that,
manga, she was a really good one.
yeah, she was. You know,
Yeah, I
and,
totally could see her like hunting down bad guys in
oh,
the Old West.
oh yeah, and of course, being an Indian, I think she, Alita is to me, even though she has her moments, Alita strikes me as kind of like a people person to a degree. And I think that, in the movies, now this is what they say in the movies a lot, but I think, some of the Indians that she would meet would think she would have strong medicine because she could run fast and she could fight well and stuff like that. And I think, that they would, recognize, her abilities just like we all do, because she definitely is. This is out west now. We're not talking about Woodlands Indians back in the east. Like Creek or Cherokee or something like that. Those are more like Woodlands Indians. Uh, Plains Indians and the Indians out west were more like that. They were more adept at riding horses, like the Comanches and the Apaches and stuff like that. So and since this is out west, I think Alita really loves animals, so I think she would be able to, I think she'd get along with any horse, basically because their horses are really
Yeah.
you know good good animals. Hey, they're a bad man. I can see bad man's out there
Mhm.
for sure. Also,
Bad
David
guys.
Alexandra's out there too. So
Yeah, Kubaj as well.
yeah, Kubi's
Although I
out
think
there.
they may
That's
have
right.
gone because it's very late. I couldn't see when I did their they weren't there, I don't think.
Yeah. But I think Alita would do fine, like riding horses, and of course that wouldn't be just as an Indian. I mean, the white man also rode horses. I mean, I think Indians like Comanches and Apaches were better horsemen than whites were. But the U.S. Cavalry was pretty good with riding horses themselves, so I think she'd be pretty good at that. And I definitely think she would be good as a town sheriff. And I think this is where her hunter warrior, uh, I guess her talents as hunter warrior would translate right over. And yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're exactly. Alita is strong medicine. That's right,
Mm.
bad man. And she does not like bad people, and that's why I think she'd be good as like in law enforcement, either as a town sheriff or a town marshal, something
Yeah,
like that.
I feel like she'd be too annoyed at all the politics involved.
Probably,
Like she'd want to just beat the shit out of the bad guys, but she couldn't.
Well, a lot of that did go on back then, although I think mostly, I think that's overhyped, I think, in the movies and stuff.
Mm.
So, but I think she would do very well in these five, kind of endeavors. And let me get to those, then we'll talk about the others. Like, for instance, as a gunslinger. And the reason why I think she would be good as a gunslinger or a gunfighter is because she is very adept with weapons. I mean, uh,
Yep.
she certainly, could fire that plasma rifle. And of course, that, in terms of just learning how to shoot a gun, I think she would adapt very well at, firing a pistol, for sure, and I think in the manga, she actually did, shoot pistols, so she knows what she's doing with a gun, and of course her speed, alone, even in her berserker body, in terms of being a quick draw. I mean, not that that happened all that much in the West. I mean, it did some, but uh, not as much as you might think. But anyway, if she was to have a quick draw with any gunfighter, and that back then, if she was a real person, she would kill anybody that was in front of her because she's so fast. She could draw and fire her weapon, like within just a few milliseconds. I mean, it would, and she'd be accurate with it as well. So yeah, I could see her facing off against somebody like John Wesley Hardin or Billy the Kid or something like that. She'd shoot them in a heartbeat. I mean, for one thing, they wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't be able to bully or intimidate her because, she kind of, you know, she fought a lot tougher, in her time period. But anyway, that's just my thought. I think she could be a professional gunfighter, or work at, say, on some ranch's security. Batman, Alita versus John Wick. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because John Wick, I've never seen any John Wick movies. I have seen some clips. He's pretty badass, and I do need to see John Wick. I definitely need to see that. But
I would certainly recommend them.
yeah, my brother watched them, and he kind of liked them, but he says it's kind of like violence porn. Is what he said. But anyway, that's him.
Yeah, it's a
Alita,
lot of action.
yeah, and I
It's
like
like
action.
basically, dude goes on revenge to take down the bad guys for an hour and a half, or however long it is.
Yeah. Actually, I think Alita and John Wick I think they'd be allies. Now, they wouldn't, when they met each other, they wouldn't
They both
know.
avenged the dogs that were innocents of dogs.
Yeah, that's right. But I think when they would first meet each other, they wouldn't know each other. So, that would be kind of a little testy time.
Yeah, I
period
think
right
depending
there.
on how they met would determine whether or not the two of them came to blows, because both of them are very driven and not necessarily given to talking things out if things go south really bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, I don't know who would win that fight.
Well, if it's Alita and she's got her berserker body, she wins.
Yeah, that's right. Even if
Because none of the guns that John Wick carries are going to be able to penetrate her body or do significant damage.
Well, not only that, I think even in her tuned body, I think she wins.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's certainly in her imaginous body, he's not going to have a chance because she'll be able to draw and fire her weapon within a microsecond.
Yeah, she's got transhuman speed and strength.
Yeah.
And the ability to withstand small arms fire.
Now, if she was in a doll body or a civilian body, like in the manga, that would be different. I mean, that might make it a little
He
more
might
even.
stand a chance.
Yeah. But yeah, in her berserker body on up, yeah, he's not gonna have a chance, I don't think. Unless he gets a drop on her. If he did that, that'd be one thing. But then again, in her berserker body, if he shoots her, I mean, the body will heal itself, So I mean, he'd have to. I don't know how he'd have to shoot her a bunch, I guess. So anyway, what's this right here? Bad Man, first two John Wick movies are available free on Roku channel and Prime Video right now. Okay, yeah. Well, hell, I'll have to watch them then. Because I got Prime. I don't like watching the Roku channel because I think they got commercials. I hate commercials. I just don't like them, So anyway, what do you think, Lee? What about her Alita as a gunslinger or a gunfighter?
It seems like a natural fit. She's drawn to conflict, like they said in the movies. Her berserker training makes her a proficient warrior. So being a gunslinger of any kind seems like a perfect fit. She would probably travel the land seeking out injustices to right and helping out townsfolk if they got a problem. Like a one-woman army, basically.
Basically. Well, what about her being like being hired by a rancher or something like that, as a security?
I think she would certainly not have a problem with that. I mean, she's got to eat. If somebody's willing to give her a paycheck for her to do what she would normally do anyway, I don't think she'd be averse to that. But it would also depend on the rancher. If it's somebody who's like a cattle baron who tends to abuse his power, he may, if she wasn't aware of him to begin with, he might end up finding himself on the wrong end of her gun real quick.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and if she knew he was a cattle baron, it may be.
Yeah, she wouldn't take the job then.
Yeah. Matter of fact, she might, like if it's a cattle baron trying to drive some, a smaller farmer or another rancher that was maybe raising sheep or just had a small herd of cows or something like that, and he was trying to take it over. She would be prone to take a job even for free with the small.
Yeah, it seems
rancher.
likely she would side with the underdog, basically.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What do you think, Lottie?
Well, she'd definitely be a great shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Gunslinger just literally means someone who shoots with a gun in the Wild West, right?
Yeah, a gunfighter is another term for that. You know, it's
Her
so
Hired
berserker
gun
body could
possibly as
lift
well.
the gun up way quicker than any human.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
And her big eyes will surely give her pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah. Well, you know, a thing about her is too is that, you know, with that berserker body, even I mean, she'd probably, you know, be able to draw and fire her weapon, you know, so fast. Like for instance, when she deflected that bullet, you know, that was shot at her by that Centurion,
Hmm.
I calculated that her reaction time to that was between 4 and 10 milliseconds. Uh,
Lightning fast.
I mean, and 10 milliseconds I think is high. I think she's probably closer to 5 or 6. You know, and
Mm.
that faster reflexes, you know, particularly in being trained with the weapons like she is. I mean, she'd have that pistol out of her holster, you know, within 4 or 5 milliseconds and have fired the gun accurately. You know, I don't know of anybody. I mean, it'd be interesting if she came up against Wild Bill Hickok. You know?
Hmm.
I mean, you know, she if you know, Wild Bill Hickok kind of had an interesting, you know, history. You know, he was a town marshal at one point, but he was also on the other side of the law a couple of times. You
Yeah.
know, and he got in trouble one time because he accidentally shot one of his deputies. You know, he, yeah, that's right, bad man. She could actually draw and fire her gun faster than the bullet flies. I mean, that's amazing. Nobody could outdraw her. That's for sure. I mean, you know, she got a shot off, you're dead. You know, I mean,
I
it's
think throwing knives in her hands would be the equivalent of like large caliber bullets.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she'd be much too much for a gunslinger like, you know, John Wesley Hardin. There was a story that he claimed, although we don't know if it happened. You know, where he and Wild Bill Hickok was in a town, and he showed him that highwayman's you know, kind of flip where they looks like you're going to hand your guns to the guy, you know, with the butt first, and you flip them over and cock them like that.
Hmm.
And Wild Bill Hickok evidently said, "Wow, that's pretty fast. You could have killed me," you know, or something like that. The problem is if he tried that with her, and even if she had her gun holstered, and he did that, flip those guns like that, and it started to point to her, she'd have her weapon out and blow him away even before the flip was finished. You know, he'd be dead. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, because she's so freaking fast. You know, and then her Imaginos body, good God, I mean, she could probably draw and fire her weapon in a microsecond. You know, I mean, it's just way too
I think
much.
in her Imagino spy, she wouldn't even need a gun.
Probably not. Yeah. But if she had one, no, I'm saying that she, you know,
Oh yeah.
of course, in her Imaginos body, she can kind of, you know, come up with a gun if she wanted it,
You
you
know,
know.
it occurs to me a revolver could be a bit of a problem for her.
Why is that?
Mm.
Well, I was just thinking if she reacts fast enough in, say, her Imaginos body or something like that,
Yeah.
uh, if she were to work the hammer quickly enough and the cylinder were to rotate,
Yeah.
the first round could probably still be firing when she got the second bullet off, which would cause the first round to impact the side of the cylinder. Or not the side of the cylinder, but the front
Yeah.
of
The
the,
front of the where the bullet enters the cylinder. Yeah.
yeah.
Although I don't know if the mechanism would do it. I mean, she could probably cock it and fire it, and if she cocked it again, the cylinder probably wouldn't, even as fast as she is, the cylinder would still not be able to move any faster. You know, so
Well, it's a
my
mechanical link between the two.
yeah,
So you've got the hammer coming in, hitting the firing pin, detonating the powder in the first round. While it's exploding, she might be able to work the mechanism and detonate the second bullet
yeah.
while the first one's is still exploding.
Have two bullets come out of the barrel at the same time almost.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably you may be right about the revolver thing because
She would probably have to slow herself down to be able to effectively use a revolver.
or she would have to maybe get used to it, fire it a few times to see what its capability was, and then
Yeah.
do it that way.
Well, I don't doubt she would practice with a weapon just to get herself some familiarity with it to make sure she's
Yeah.
using it properly.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
just one of those. It's just one of those little details that kind of jumped at me. I was like, well, she might actually be able to fire that thing fast enough. The bullets would be, bullet would be still detonating when she fired the second one.
well, let's see if she fired the first one. The explosion, the bullet starts going down the chamber, I guess, or down the barrel.
Well, I was thinking it would still be detonating the powder in the casing. And before it expanded enough to fire the bullet, the second one's already in and having the hammer hit that one as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if I don't know if the cylinder would move
rotate
fast
that
enough. Yeah, it
Well, I'm
may not.
thinking with because the mechanical, it's all a mechanical solid link. As fast as she's working it is probably as fast as it's going to operate.
Yeah, she'd probably have to. Yeah, she probably couldn't. She could probably draw and fire one bullet within, say, 4 to 6 milliseconds. But to fire a second bullet, she would have to wait, I think, until the chamber came back around to cock it and fire it, I think, probably, which would still be pretty freaking fast. I mean,
Well, you look at how fast they can fan hammers on some of those revolvers that are built for that kind of thing.
yeah. And that's probably as pretty close as fast as it can do it. So she would probably, when she would practice with it, she would have to learn what that.
Oh, that's the thing with with a mechanical system like that. It'll work as fast as you work it. So as fast as she pulls the triggers, as fast as that cylinder is rotating, it's not slowed down by anything except the operator.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Which also leads to another thing. She may end up going through pistols very quickly if she wears them out like that, because that's going to put a lot
Yeah.
of stress on the mechanisms.
Can you imagine her shooting like all 6 rounds, like within a quarter of a second? She can empty that thing and all of them, all the bullets be within a very small area, of the target, God.
Yeah.
Let's see, Vladi, did I ask you already? I think I did, didn't I?
About her being a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Yes, she definitely do some good gun fu. Is that what they're called in like John Wick and stuff? When it's like kung fu but with guns, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kunst.
Well, in the 70s, they called kung fu. Sometimes they called it gung with a G on the end of the gun. Gung fu.
Oh.
They did that as well. What do you think, Angelus?
I had an answer for it. Well, I mean, aside from the fact that she does handle guns in the Badlands, she'll definitely it does remind me of the scene in RoboCop where he gets buggered up a little bit, and his partner, I forget her name, helps him adjust his aim by moving his arm so he can recalibrate, if you will.
Yeah.
And what was it? And yeah, she just had the hand-eye coordination for starters, the reflexes to have the quick draw on her opponents.
Yeah,
I like the picture on the left, by the way.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice picture. It's AI, obviously.
Yeah, I like the expression though. It's kind of very Alita-ish.
Can you see her with a gun like that? And
exactly, yeah, with that
badass outlaw who thinks he's
you've made
fast.
me do this to you. I didn't want to shoot you, but
yeah. Well, he thinks he's fast, and he just about almost touches the handle of his gun, and she's already got it pointed at him like that, saying, "Go ahead." I could see her doing that. Where even before he could even get the gun unholstered or even touch it, she would have that gun out and pointing at him like that. Although I would say if he went for his weapon, she'd probably shoot him. She probably wouldn't,
Yeah.
if she was trying to, well, as a town sheriff, she probably would try to arrest him maybe, but,
Mm.
yeah, I think she'd be pretty badass as a gunfighter.
That's the other thing, as accurate as she probably is with weapons. I mean, she's very proficient with them, even
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah.
If she were a town sheriff and were just trying to keep the body count to a minimum,
Yeah.
well, it wouldn't be much for her to just go for the person's gun.
Yeah. There was an old saying out west I'd heard somewhere: anybody worth shooting is worth killing.
Mm.
So yeah, I guess if it's a life and death situation, she may not go for his gun. She might just shoot him.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it
particularly
would
if
depend on the situation. I mean, if it's somebody that she thinks might be under the under a misconception about a conflict or something,
yeah,
so she tries a more peaceable approach.
yeah.
It would depend, though. Yeah.
But she'd have I guess profound confidence in her ability
Oh yeah.
in terms of not worrying about, is this guy going to be faster than me, because he's not.
Ain't nobody faster than her.
No, because I mean, nobody can draw their gun in 4 milliseconds. I think the fastest I've seen on YouTube, now I could be wrong about this, but I think the fastest draw was like 50 milliseconds,
Mhm.
something like that. And she's more than 10 times faster than that. So
Mm.
yeah, that's, yeah, I think picking a gunfight with her is going to be, that's going to be a suicide type proposition if you tried that, and plus being in the military, she's been trained in the armed military, or if it's in the manga, in the in the Martian military maybe, but she's going to have discipline, so
Yep.
it's not like she's going to be like some crazed teenager that's going to shoot first and ask questions later and just shoot some more. I mean, she's going to have it. She's going to be pretty solid with the use of her weapon and when to use it. And that kind of thing. That'd be my guess anyway. Any other thoughts, Vladi or Angelus?
No.
Nah.
Not for.
Who would make her guns for her? Would she have like special technologically advanced guns?
I don't think so. I think, well, I mean, if she did bring back a gun like she's got there on the left, I mean, then she don't need to practice hardly at all with it. I mean, because she's already going to know it, But if she relies on like the old Colt 45 or the old Smith and Wesson or something like that, she's going to have to practice with it some, or use it some to get acquainted with it, But I think once she did, she'd be just as proficient with those old 1870 pistols as she would with any gun that she has in the 26th century, I think, anyway.
Yep.
That'd be a little bit like asking, say, a military guy from today to go back to like 1776 and get proficient with a musket. I mean, I think eventually they probably would, but they would have to practice with it. They'd have to train with it, and it would take them a little while because they're humans. But the thing about Alita, well, she's human, but she's got that cyborg body, and she's going to learn faster, than with using guns. I think that'd be my guess anyway.
Well, there's also the consideration if you took a specialized weapon back in time with her, there's the possible problem of ammunition.
Yeah.
If it's a high-tech pistol that requires a specialized ammo type, she's got to find some way of manufacturing her reloads.
Yeah, or modifying, some of the. Now, if that gun on the left there, if that's a 45,
45 ammunition is not going to be hard to find, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be, or a 44, let's say, if that's what it is.
But you also got to consider the type of casing it's used. If the case doesn't fit in the magazine and into
That's
the
right.
Firing chamber very well, you're going to end up with problems.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I would say, Vladi, that she would need to rely on the guns of the day, and get one of those, and then ammunition would be plenty, I think, you know.
Yeah. It'd certainly be easier on her, and she's not going to be any less deadly with it.
No. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh boy, boy, it'd be scary to have her spacing you down like that, knowing she can draw that fast.
Yep.
You know, yeah, and
Just
be
start
accurate.
running.
Yeah, yeah. You say, okay, no, I'm done. I'm not going to fight. You know what would happen? Maybe Buffalo Bill Cody would, see her, and say, hey, you want to be at my show? You know, might do something like that, like he did with what was her name? Annie Oakley, I think, was one of his performers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, I think we hit that. Oh, what is this? What has Bad Man got here? Going, recommend are better for traveling to places and don't normally have that type of weapon. Yeah, I guess so. She could probably have a directed energy weapon back there. I don't know what the ammunition would be like. How,
Well, it
what
requires
that.
a power system of some sort
Yeah,
for a
that's
direct energy
exactly right.
weapon. So you're kind of it's gonna depend on, like, does it have its own contained power cell or power system for effectively unlimited ammunition, or is it some kind of advanced capacitor battery that
Yeah.
powers it?
And the thing about that too is if it wasn't solar powered, you didn't on your pack, your energy pack, and it was just a standard like a badass battery or something like that. That thing's going to run out of juice eventually. And back in the 1870s, they did not have a lot of. I mean, there was certainly no electricity. They didn't have that around until about 1880.
Yeah,
So
electrical power was a little in short supply.
I mean, even in the 1880s, it was now even out west that some of the towns out there like Deadwood and some of those, they started putting up electric lights, in about
Mhm.
the 1880s. But then it's the a situation that is the power compatible, I mean that kind of thing. So unless she's got a solar powered backpack of some kind or some kind of energy storage device, that's solar powered, that she's directed energy weapons only going to last so long. I mean, it would
Well,
be.
like I said, if it's got some kind of onboard microreactor, like, her heart is a microreactor.
Mm.
Yep.
So it's entirely conceivable that it could be some kind of rifle type weapon with a built-in microreactor of some sort,
Yeah.
in which case it's got effectively unlimited ammunition.
Yeah, that's right. Because if she can power Iron City for years, shooting a gun is not going to be a problem. That could be
Yeah.
thousands of years. So yeah, you're right. Anyway, our girl would be deadly, boy. That's for sure. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
If I was an outlaw, I wouldn't want to face her down. I mean, you'd probably see her initially, and you'd say, "Wow, she's kind of cute," And then you see how fast she pulls that gun, you're going to say, "Oh shit, yeah, I don't want any part of this,"
Yep.
that kind of thing. Okay, what about being a bounty hunter? Now, I couldn't find any old West thing here like I couldn't on the other one, but of course, I think we sort of talked about that a little bit. But I think even in the old West, I think she'd be an excellent bounty hunter, and she wouldn't even need a horse. I mean, in that cyborg body, horses you can only gallop a horse full speed for maybe a couple of miles, maybe 3, that'd be
Mhm.
tops. She can run hundreds of miles without stopping, I
Mhm.
mean, and probably, well, she can run faster than a horse. I mean, like I said, that one video, I calculated her speed, and that was just from her jumping around and turning and,
Mm.
and
True, but a
twisting
horse
around.
does provide some advantages.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
there's companionship, even if
Yeah.
it is an animal. I mean, she
Yeah.
would probably feel less alone having a horse with her.
Yeah, that's right.
There's also the matter of it can carry
Yeah.
a larger load without it being unwieldy.
Yeah.
There's also the camouflage aspect. If she's riding a horse, nobody's going to suspect, of her more advanced capabilities.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll just see her as maybe a little girl riding a horse. That'd
Yeah.
be And if you were a highway robber, you'd be taking your
Yeah,
life in your own hands.
that would be so funny. They'd set a trap for this little girl riding all by herself,
Yeah,
and the bullets will just bounce off her. And they'll be
yeah,
like, "What the fuck?" And then she'll just like tear them all apart with like
yeah,
a big smile on her face.
yeah. What does the bad man say here? A horse is underpowered because he's only has
Only
one
one horsepower.
Yeah, that's right. But I calculated her speed, and of course I could be off here, but
But yeah, if she needed to get someplace real quick in a hurry, definitely be running on
Yeah.
her own.
But if she had a horse, she would have to kind of slow down a little bit for the horse, But if she was going to run somewhere, I mean, I calculated her speed in the movie at 125 miles an hour, and I mean that's way faster than a horse can run,
Oh yeah.
And that's faster than a cheetah can run for that matter. But in the manga, of course, in her berserker body, she can run a Mach 6.5. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having something like that out west running Mach 6.5 across the desert? That would be ridiculous. It'd be kind of laughable. I could see somebody seeing her running like that, and they'd blink their eyes and she'd be past them. It'd be, what the hell was that? That kind of thing.
Yep.
But I think she would be really superb as a bounty hunter. If she comes after you now, the one thing would be going against her here on this. Not going against her, but would be a challenge for her. Would be way back when when you'd have like bounties out on someone. They didn't have like very good photographic type of representations. Usually these bounties were like drawn on paper by an artist, and maybe a lot of times not a very good artist, something like that, as opposed to being able to look on a kiosk, like they were doing in the Iron City and seeing what someone's face looked like. She would not have that advantage there. But now I do think she would adapt, and I think she would overcome that myself, but it would be more of a challenge, I think, for her to try to hunt down a bad guy, if she hadn't seen him or didn't have a very good description of what he looked like or something like that, he or she, I think she would have a very difficult time finding him. But I will tell you a story that I'm really familiar with because it was near my hometown. But the gunfighter John Wesley Hardin, he was actually captured in Pensacola, Florida, which is where I was born. And if she was on that train with him, he's captured. He's not going to get away from her, and he can't outshoot her. He's not faster than she is. He's not as accurate as she is.
Can't outshoot her, can't outrun her, can't
Yeah.
outfight her.
Yeah, he's caught. The only option he has is to surrender, because if he doesn't, he's dead. It's just that simple. Whereas with other bounty hunters, in the old West, it was a pretty dangerous, type of situation. Now it would be dangerous for her to a degree, I guess, but because there would be the very slight possibility that she could be injured to the point. I don't think. I guess even if they shot her and the bullet hit her head, I'm not sure it would penetrate that armored skull she has, but it might knock her out, or something like that, because of the brain would jostle against the walls of the skull, But I do think it would be very difficult, for her to be killed, back in the old West, because for one thing, the weapons aren't anything like what she was facing when she was in the military fighting in the fall, and she's going to be. It's almost like she's going to be like, like Superman or something, she can't fly, but she can certainly run freaking fast, and it's no outlaw is going to be a match for her, period. She could probably capture the entire James gang by herself, without any sweat, So anyway, what do you think, Lee or Vladi or Angelus? Or being a bounty
I think you pretty well covered it. Much like being a gunslinger, it's a fairly natural fit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she's made for it. Really, this is what I would think she would be doing.
Yeah, because
Because she always wanted to be a hunter
go-
warrior.
Yeah. Well, I think in the manga she became a hunter warrior, didn't she, to help Hugo get money or
Yeah,
something,
true.
right? To get
It
the
wasn't a
zombie.
lifelong goal, but there was a period
Yeah.
where she did really want to be one.
Yeah, Badman had a good point. I was talking about, her being hit by a bullet. Yeah, it would depend on the angle, and the type of ammo. I think there was a gun way back when called the Hawken 50 caliber. That'd be pretty tough, if she got shot with one of those. What I do think, though, would happen in a berserker body, if she got shot with one of those, it might knock her down for sure, because that's a pretty potent weapon. But I think the nanites in her would probably extract the bullet and repair the damage, and it would probably do it within 10 seconds, like it did when Gorishka punctured her with the grind cutters.
Mm.
But
if the
go-
shot didn't kill her, then she'd not only survive but be fighting fit within like easily fast enough to shoot back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if a Hawken 50 caliber rifle could penetrate her not iron, that titanium carbon nanotube or alloy or whatever that thing was.
Yeah, it's
on
some
her
kind of
head.
high-tech alloy.
Yeah, because you don't fall from 2 miles up, or even in the manga up from where Jeru was, and land, because you got to know her head hit the ground. And it didn't kill her. That's, holy crap. Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting, bad man. It would depend, I guess. I guess if they shot her at point blank range, maybe that might do some severe damage to her. But I still think if it didn't kill her, those nanites, well, probably the nanites, even if it killed her, they probably would repair the wound. Of course, she'd be dead, so it wouldn't matter, But the nanites would probably still repair the damage, but that would be as far as it go, But yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be extremely difficult to kill her in the Old West. I think it would be beyond what any of the gunfighters or outlaws or even law enforcement. Even then, I don't know if they could do it. Maybe they could. I do think she would be much tougher than anybody else around. It would be ridiculously difficult to try to fight her, with a gun. I think it'd be stupid. Of course, probably some hot-headed kid might try it. I don't know. It'd be an early death for him, I guess.
I think just about anybody with a chip on their shoulder and not a lot of familiarity with her would try it.
Yeah, and maybe maybe she had been in the Old West for a while, and the stories started getting out about. They wouldn't call her a cyborg; they'd call her probably a metal girl or something like that, And of course, then somebody would want to, see what they could do against her, and of course, that'd be the last thing they did, So what do we got here? Bad man, the surface of the scrapyard is a semi-solid, deformable lava piles of scrap, and Alita may have landed in water. That's possible. Yeah, her head might have hit something pointed or anything like that, because one side of her skull was ripped off, in terms of the skin, not the skull, but or it could have just worn off, But that's right, bad man. Who knows what she landed in? Could have been water, because certainly it was probably water in the scrapyard, little puddles anyway, So, any other thoughts about Alita being a bounty hunter?
Would she cut off their heads? Because that's what she had to do in Island City, right?
She probably wouldn't do it unless she had to for the bounty for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Because usually,
why did you cut their heads off, Alita? That's a bit dark.
Yeah, she might do the first one. They say you didn't have to do that. You could have just brought the body in. Oh, okay. The next time I will.
I'm on Pasadena Playhouse's Instagram, by the way. They're doing like behind the scenes stories, but no Rosa so far. I'm just scrolling through them. Hold on.
Ah,
Rosa's so elusive.
yeah, she is.
Hmm.
I wish
She probably said, I don't want to be in any stories. God damn it.
I wish Rosa was still on Instagram. Golly, I mean,
Who pissed her off?
I don't know. I think
Someone pissed her off.
wasn't it that guy that was
No, we don't know
stalking
that. It
her?
could have been anyone. That was time before. That was a while
Oh,
before.
was that before the Instagram
Yeah,
thing?
that was way off. She left way after that.
Oh, okay. Well, see that all that happened before I was in the Alita Army, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, I do know that there was a guy that was stalking her, and that was a big problem. But that was, I guess way back.
Don't think that was related, honestly.
Okay.
Let's hunt his bounty. Let's put a
Exactly.
bounty on them and
But-
hunt it for themselves and it's like not turn it in.
Could you imagine if somebody, if Rosa was still on Instagram and somebody, kind of threatened her or did whatever stupid ass thing these people do sometimes, on social media, the whole Alita Army would be on that sucker. I mean, it would be brutal. I think, that's our queen you're messing with, asswipe. You better.
Oh, I'm scared of what the likes of Dennis and Uriel would do.
Yeah.
Their tongues are sharper than any sword, except maybe the Damascus blade. But
Well, the creek is pretty laid back a lot of times, but I tell you, I do have the capacity to go type A or get medieval on people's asses. I can do it, especially if they're after our queen. I'm definitely going to do it,
Mm.
So anyway, let's get off that topic. That's stupid, Anyway, okay, next. Now here's the one the creek would really like for her to do is to be an Indian. Now the reason why I think that she would do well with American Indians is because first of all, she loves animals, so she, out west. Now, not this, Indians out west are different than Indians back east. That they're different groups, and there are a whole bunch of different tribes. But I do think Alita would, since the fact that she loves animals, and I would assume that she would be pretty good with horses. I think that she'd be like a natural fit. Now, the problem would come in, like if she wandered into the Comanche Nation, they would originally or initially see her as a white girl, coming in there. And they would, now I'm not sure Comanches would try to kill her, a woman, they might try to capture her, is what they might do. And that would be a huge mistake because
No,
she could
being
probably,
aggressive with her in general would not be a good first step.
but what I do think is kind of like what Badman was saying a while ago is that they would see her abilities and they would see that as some kind of big medicine, or some, I mean, almost like we would see like a superhero if they really existed, I mean, that's the way they would see them. And some of these, uh, yeah, she might could carry the horse. As a matter of fact, horses weigh what about, how much they weigh on average? 1,400 pounds or so. Yeah, she probably could because I think I figured one time she could bench press at least 3,000 pounds. So she could probably carry a horse more than likely, But I guess, I don't know. But
Yeah, she
It's-
might need to use a draft horse as a riding horse if she
Yeah,
even bothered with one.
yeah,
she'd be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
yes. But I do think she would, once they figured her out, I think she would, and if she figured out that they were not a belligerent people, I think she would get along with them fine. Now, if they were belligerent, it'd be another story, I mean, it'd have been pretty interesting, if she'd have been in some of those Indian battles, back and she was an Indian, I mean, the poor old U.S. military wouldn't have done very well against her, but I do think she would be really well, as an Indian because, some now tribes are vastly different from tribe to tribe back in the 19th century. I mean, you can't lump them all into one monolithic group. But some tribes would respect strength, and I think there was an old saying. I saw this in a movie, but I think it was also they did some research on this. Is that that amongst Indians, tribes might is measured by how our tribe's strength is measured by how mighty its enemies be. You know, so if she was in a tribe and they saw her as a positive, uh, there wouldn't be a lot of these other tribes that could challenge that tribe if she, adopted the tribe and they allowed her to live with them and stuff like that. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Alita went back there. Maybe she got teleported back in 1876 on July the 2nd, I think it was.
Wasn't there like a bad guy in the Old West who would like pull out people's hearts? Who was that? Well, it was in the Lone Ranger anyway. You saw the Lone Ranger, right?
Yeah, I saw the load. You mean the one with Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah, that's a good movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Who was the bad guy in that pulled out the hearts?
God,
He's like the antithesis of Alita, like evil, whereas Alita pulled out her heart.
Well, Alita wouldn't get along with him very well, I don't think.
No, she beat the crap out of him.
She wouldn't tolerate him, I don't think, and he wouldn't be any match for her either. I mean, it would, but yeah, I think she would get along with a lot of them, not all of them, I mean, because like say, some of them wouldn't accept her, I mean, they would, being a white woman, I don't know about that, like,
would they think she's a white woman? They might think she's like an alien because of the big eyes.
I don't know if they knew what an alien was back then, unless you saw the movie Cowboys and Aliens. I mean,
yeah.
So
Well, they'll think she's like a spirit or something. Sky people.
Yeah, they may think of her as something else. Maybe
being supernaturally strong, fast, and tough. Yeah, they conceivable they might see her as something other than purely human.
When she left,
sort of otherworldly being.
Well, it wouldn't just be Indians either. I think any, when the white man came over, Indians were basically, a lot of them, not all of them, many of the smaller tribes, they were like in the Stone Age. Now some tribes like the Aztecs and the Incas and that, they had advanced civilizations in terms of for the day. I mean, they had cities and stuff like that. So it depended on where she was. I guess. I would say that if she happened upon a small tribe that is still in the Stone Age, basically, they would probably see her as some kind of, might even see her as a demon, or they might see her as some kind of, who knows what, what they might see her as. I know how we would see her. We'd see her as a goddess.
Yeah, it would be a very bad idea to see her as a demon.
Yeah.
Imagine if they start trying to shoot arrows at her.
That would be a big mistake.
Yeah.
Well, that could end up leading into a very bad feedback loop where they think she's a demon, so they attack her. She kills a whole bunch of them. They get pissed off because the demon's killing them.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
she's definitely a demon.
And I don't think arrows or spears are going to do much damage against her.
Not really, no.
Especially,
I mean, even if the spears could do some damage to her, none of the people wielding them are fast enough or strong enough to really do anything to her.
Yeah. And of course, if a spear or an arrow hit her, like when Grishka, attacked her that time, it would prepare her within 5 to 10 seconds, so she'd keep fighting. I mean, it just wouldn't go well for people that didn't have some kind of advanced weaponry to fight her, So they might be. What would that might be? They might be put off or confused by her cyborg body. They definitely would be. They would. Yeah, I think they would. That probably the superstition would take over about the cyborg body. Yeah, just that's a good point, Badman. In Halo, I guess the Covenant. They called Master Chief. They called him a demon. The demon. I mean.
Yeah, there are even voice lines that affect in the game. The grunts will cry out "demon" as he approaches, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, if Alita hit it off with them and they were friendly and all that, they would probably see her as something like an angel or something like that, or something. I don't know if they had the term angel.
Well, like I said, some sort of spirit being or otherworldly entity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
My take before, assuming that you've got other, not that I'm
Oh
trying
yeah,
to rush anything, but
no, that's all right.
it would be my take. I'll try to take the worst case scenario in that there would be initial confrontation, especially because they'd be like superstitious to say the least.
Yeah,
If a death occurred, like 99.9% chance it'll be an Indian. And then they'll like get pissed off and like want to, I don't know, whether it be enact revenge or like to honor the spirit of the fallen comrade. They send out their best warrior or a team of warriors, and stop me if this sounds familiar. Um, to hunt her down. And there's a scene in The Predator, that's the reference I was getting for, where Billy basically, to stall and give the others enough time to get to the chopper,
yeah, yeah,
he basically draws blood. Like, I don't think at that stage he knew that the Predator could, see his through infrared, but he did that as an initial challenge. Now, I'm not saying Alita would be more like the Predator, but like she'd have enough sense rather than get lost in the haze of combat to go, all right, well, I'm if he's still going to try to kill me, I'm going to defend myself. But why is he
yeah,
doing this? Like, why isn't he
yeah,
like not being the bloodthirsty trying to kill me kind of person that all the others were?
yeah,
So she'd be a little bit hesitant in dealing the final blow. They might come to terms, and whether that challenger lives or dies, uh, that might like invoke her to look into it more. Maybe she wouldn't be um, as wanting to kill them as she was initially.
yeah.
Well, if she's not on
And
her
then,
Badlands arc, she's probably going to be more open to dialogue first, throwing hands second.
yeah,
Of course, she's not going to be
and
able to. Oh, go ahead, Angelus.
yeah, well, and on top of that, um, eventually she'll come across someone that's like even weaker than her. And again, worst case scenario, she'll like, not worth killing. And, it's not the kind of information that I'm after. So she'll just let him live as opposed to just kill everyone in sight.
Mhm.
And then the reverse would happen on the Indian side. They'll be saying, well, hang on, a demon isn't killing us after all.
Yeah,
What kind of, black
yeah,
magic is this sort of thing? And
or
then
yeah,
that would be the catalyst of like having some sort of, a ceasefire, so to speak, and then a ceasefire
yeah,
would lead to dialogue, and dialogue, etc., would go on. And you know, then she discovered that, well, hey, they're not much different from me. So
yeah, yeah,
uh,
and
in
oh,
that
good.
aspect, I reckon she would, or she at the very least can be and like make a good Indian, whatever tribe that she comes across.
Yeah, especially after that, they adopted her. For some reason. I mean, or not adopted her, but they consented to let her, maybe live with them for a while or something like that. Because contrary to what you see in the movies, all Indians weren't bloodthirsty savages. They were just people trying to survive. A lot of them.
Hmm.
Some were pretty tough. Like for instance, if I guarantee you, if she happened into Comancheria, which is a area there in northern Texas and part of Oklahoma and northeast New Mexico and that area where the Comanches live, I guarantee if she goes in there, it's going to be a fight to begin with. And what would happen there is she probably would, the initial party would probably all try to kill her and she would have to kill them. And then after that, who knows what. There's a scene, for instance, there's a scene in The Outlaw Josie Wales. I don't know if you ever saw this movie or not, but he goes riding in he goes riding into a Comanche camp. That's not gonna happen. one white dude is not going to go riding into a Comanche camp. That's just not going to happen. And I think the same thing would be here. Now, if she was in another, like if she went into like a territory where the Yaquis lived, or say the Navajo or some of them, they may not be. They won't. Now, I'm not an expert on these tribes, but my sense is that they're not as belligerent, as Comanches were toward outsiders, not just white people, but even Apaches. They didn't like Apaches. They drove the Apaches up into the mountains, basically. So I think it depend on the tribe. I think some tribes she would just ride into camp and they'd wonder what the hell is this, or something like that. And then they would, maybe try to talk to her or something. Now that would be difficult because she wouldn't understand the language and they wouldn't be able to understand her. And that would be one thing, but they would be able to interpret her actions, or, just the way she carried herself or whatever, as being, somebody who's not belligerent toward them, and they would be maybe a little more accepting. Other tribes wouldn't do that. It would depend on the tribe, I think, you know. She could join the Creeks tribe if she wants. Ha! So, any other thoughts about this?
Did the Indians have an equivalent of like berserker mode? Like,
mean,
what
like
if they're
the
doing
Vikings,
like
you mean?
that kind of thing,
That's
where they like go,
bullshit.
where
Well,
they like
they
go
did.
into battle? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What,
they
a
They must
would
have
do
had
it
something
warcry?
like
over your
that, putting on the war
hands.
paint and everything.
Well, they did that. They put on war paint, but that doing that thing over your mouth with
Did
your
they
hand,
not do that?
They would no, man. They would.
What?
Now some of them would scream, because that's a good way to scare your opponent, But no, that's all movie crap right there.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And something that, actually, funnily enough, Creaky would be familiar with. Like I said, I'd imagine, especially the more battle hardened or battle inclined tribes would also have war cries.
Yes.
And I would even go as far as bringing the Japanese culture, where a lot of martial arts styles have kiais, which
Hmm.
would be a spiritual yell, and that. And again, funny that you say it used to scare the opponent, because
Yes.
sometimes that's often what it's used for. Like,
Yeah.
even in today's day and age, someone comes up to you and like gets all in your face and starts yelling at you.
Yeah.
It's like you're either sort of push back immediately, or you take a step back.
Yeah.
You do one or the other, and then you react to whatever
Whatever.
happens after that.
That's right.
And that's what a war cry is. It's
Yeah.
meant to raise your what's that chemical reaction in your body?
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
Endorphins. Yeah.
Endorphins.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're going into battle, that's good.
Yeah.
It heightens your
I can
reflexes.
totally see
Well,
how that
and
really goes into
adrenaline. Yeah.
battle.
And adrenaline. Well, the war cry. It's funny you mentioned that, Angelus, because I use that term hokahay. Now that's not a Muskogee Creek word. That's a Lakota word, or Lakota Sioux Indians. But hokahay is just like a battle cry, is what it is. And when when the Lakota, the Cheyenne, and oh gosh, there was like 3 or 4 tribes. I can't remember. The Arapaho, I think, also. Uh, but the Lakota would say "Hokahay, it's a good day to die," and I think that's where they picked that up. And they didn't say "Hokahay" in Star Trek, but they picked that up for the Klingons saying it's a good day to die, something like that. And it was kind of like something to both, kind of boost their confidence, boost their their what they would think is their ability or something like that. Also, in terms of war crimes, that's not limited to Indians. I mean, during the American Civil War, there was that thing called the rebel yell, and the Confederate forces actually used that. They would yell as they were attacking. They would scare the bejesus out of the Union forces. Now they got used to that eventually, because I am so sure that Union forces also started yelling as well. So, but it's not limited to Indians for sure. I mean, it's a human thing, I think, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, that key eye. Oh, here's another thing too. Some of you may not realize that the DNA of Indians is actually is is very related or pretty much the same as East Asian DNA. In other words, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, same DNA basically, or pretty close, with American Indians. So it's kind of interesting, So anyway, it's just a little tidbit there. All right,
So
go ahead, Velati, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so overall, like she would make a good Indian, and she'd be a good ally to
Yes.
Indians.
Oh, especially if they did take her in, and she, befriended a lot of the people there, and just had a relationship with some of them, as friends and stuff like that, and that they were attacked, by say whites or another Indian tribe. Oh my God, you do not attack the people that Alita loves. You don't do that because that's not going to end well for you if you do that. So,
Yep.
Yeah, especially if they weren't dog lovers.
that's right. For sure.
I hate that.
Yeah, he wasn't a dog lover. I hate that. I love that. I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts about Alita being an Indian? I think it would depend on the tribe. Not all tribes are the same, obviously, and not all people in all the tribes are the same. I mean, they're like anybody else. You guys didn't know there was also white Indians too. You know that? With blue
What?
eyes. Yeah, yeah. The Delaware, they have people there that are white, have blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah,
Like Europeans?
yeah, yeah.
What? Why did they? How are they Indian?
I don't know how that worked, but that's a trait of
Did they
many of
just
the.
embrace the Native American culture? Or?
Perhaps, but most Indians today too are not full bloods. Most of Indians are like me. I'm a mixed blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have seen me on the streams that when I had the camera on, I look like a white boy. So there you have it. All right, well, we can move off of this one, I guess, unless you guys got another thought. And Alita does have uwu, even as an Indian, doesn't she?
Definitely.
Would Alita be? What would she do? Or would she be good in the U.S. Cavalry? I think she would.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what the Berserkers were, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. In the notations that Cameron made, Alita, at least according to the notes he made there for the movie, she had a bad reaction to organized militaries.
Yes.
So yeah, she would probably be very good in the U.S. Cavalry. I don't think she'd be a particularly big fan of the U.S. Cavalry.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Particularly if they attacked, like there's what a lot of folks thought was a battle, which wasn't. It was a battle on the Washita River, and that's where the 7th Cavalry under Custer attacked this Indian village when all of the warriors were out hunting.
I remember that. Yeah,
and
not a lot about it. Heard a little bit about it though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty much a massacre. Had the warriors been there, he might have had a little bit of a trouble. For sure. Now, if Alita had been in like the U.S. in the 7th Cavalry, at the Washita River, she probably wouldn't have fought with them. She said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And deserted. Is probably what she would have done. So,
Yep.
and good luck trying to catch her.
Yeah, I think part of that might be her experiences, some subconscious reaction to her experiences in the military.
Yeah.
Because on some level, I'm pretty sure she probably has some memory of the things that she did while part of the military. So.
Yeah, and some of it wasn't good, So you're right. She'd remember all that. Now, in terms, like you were saying, Lee, in terms of being a soldier, she'd be really good at it, because she
Mhm.
has that. She does have that experience. Now,
Yep.
she would probably have to, come up to speed on some of their procedures and, some of the protocols they do and stuff like that. But being in the military, I think she would adapt, pretty easily. So, what do y'all think?
Yeah, basically agree.
Yeah, I think she'd draw the line, though, attacking, weak, like an Indian village with no
Definitely.
warriors.
She doesn't
Yeah,
stand by in the presence of evil.
Yep.
exactly.
She'd
Good
get in
point,
one
Lottie.
fight and she'd see like them massacring some Indians and she'd be like, whoa. And then she'd be like, okay, I'm switching
Yeah. The
sides.
second she watches one kid get killed, she's turning on the cavalry.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right. Yeah, she sees. That's right, because they were killing. They were killing babies. They were killing children, and that would have set her off. I mean, oh my God, it would. Oh gosh, then she'd have become an outlaw. Then I guess. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Custer got his comeuppance. That's right, in the Battle of the Greasy Grass, or what as the Indians called it, or the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Yeah, interesting story about that one too is that. Custer, when he first when he first happened on, he didn't know how big this Indian village was when he happened upon it, but it had like 5 or 6 different tribes, and there were thousands of warriors down there, and he only had something like 200 and some odd men in his actual uh, I guess, division, or not division. It was a battalion, I guess. And now the total force, he had over 600 guys, but he had split them up into 3 groups. And Benteen had one group. Uh, Gosh, I can't remember who had the other group, and then he had like 200 and some guys, and he just thought he was going to ride in there like he did the Washita River and just clean house. Big mistake. They got in there. Of course, the Indians, what they did is they lured him into a trap. They started chasing a few of them, and they got over this hill or whatever it was. And when he happened to, when he, was chasing them, all of a sudden he got surrounded by thousands of Indians, and he only had 200 guys. I mean, it's game over at that point. But
Mhm.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
Did they kill him?
Oh yeah, yeah. He died. Him and 200 plus, troopers all died. Not a single one survived. There was one guy that it was rumored. This is a rumor that he kind of like let. He didn't fight with him, and I don't know what
Mm.
what happened there, but he rode off before this thing even happened. So but I don't know if that's true or not. But there was a rumor, that he did that. But
Mm.
yeah, everybody that fought in the Battle of Little Bighorn, the whites, they all died. Every single one of them. And it was pretty much it was a slaughter, that's for sure. And there
It's
was
like
a
Alita when she cut Grishka in half after
yeah,
struggling before that.
yeah. Well, he wasn't much of a he didn't have the upper hand at all. I mean, he got tricked into attacking the village, and then he got surrounded, and that was it. Game over. Now there was another story. There was a guy named Fetterman that he claimed that he could take 80 troopers and ride through the Lakota Nation. Well, guess what? He had 80 troopers, and he tried to attack the Lakota Indians, and under the command of Crazy Horse, and all 80 of them got killed. So
Mm.
because he was an idiot, you know, I mean, just a
Mm.
lot of bravado and hubris and stuff like that. Because they thought Indians were, they thought they were savages. That they weren't intelligent. Boy did they pay a price for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't get me going on this. I guess. So yeah, I think
Fell
Alita
for
would.
his own hype.
That's right. Had a false impression of his ability. So
Mhm.
for sure, the ability of his battalion. I guess. Anyway, yeah, I think Alita would be really good in the U.S. Cavalry in terms of being able to do the day-to-day stuff. And she could certainly ride a horse. I think. And then she would do very well, because she has that military background. Now, where the rub would come is when they attack when they would attack an Indian village that had no warriors. You know, I mean, that'd be, and she might not even, you know, fight with them if there was warriors, if she perceived that, you know, hey, these people are living a peaceful life, they're on their land, and you're attacking them. You know, I mean, yeah, that might
Yeah,
not sit
attacking
well with her.
families in their homes doesn't sound like something that would sit well with her.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we hit that one good enough because the creek will get angry if we keep talking about this. So anyway, what about Alita being a town sheriff? What do y'all think? Or a town marshal, either one. What do y'all think?
My answer would be the same as the bounty hunter, really. It's
Yeah, I
just
think
that
so.
Yeah, I think it kind of falls into the same category as gunslinger and bounty hunter.
Yeah, except here, she's going to have to use a little bit more diplomacy, I think. You know,
A
with
little bit more restraint, a little bit
yeah,
more diplomacy, be a bit more of a mediator,
yeah,
which I'm not sure how well she would do with that.
yeah. That would be the only thing. I think knowing that she is so much better with a pistol than anybody around on the planet. You know, I mean, she would probably have, and it wouldn't be false confidence either. I mean, you know, she would, she'd know in a strong way that there's nobody on this planet that's better than a gun with a gun than I am. You know, so and nobody's faster than I am. So she might have a little more tolerance for somebody until they went for their weapon. Then of course it's game over at that point. But
Yeah.
and certainly she's strong enough that she could knock them out. You know, if it's say it's a drunk or something like that, and they're you know they're carrying on in some way that's you know not appropriate or something like that, then you know she could just you know bonk them on the head one time, knock them out, and just carry them to jail. You know, something like that. You know, uh, and it wouldn't be any big deal to her. You know, I mean that people resist her because she's you know probably, you know, 20 to 30 times stronger than they are, and she's faster with a gun and more accurate than they are, and it's just not going to work for them, you know. So
Mhm.
I think knowing that she'd have that ability, that might make her a little more tolerant. But yeah, because I don't think she would be somebody like Wild Bill Hickok, you know, shoot first and ask
Yeah, I
questions
suppose
later.
if another person's life isn't at stake, and she knows she's not going to be in any danger from whatever it is she's facing, that
Yeah,
might give her enough cushioning, as it were, to
yeah,
be willing to go a little bit more softer on them, at least at
yeah,
first. Try
yeah,
and talk them down. If you can't do that, well, then you plug them and plant them.
yeah. Well, she's so fast, she might be able to knock him out with a punch or something like that and carry him to jail. And if
Yep.
that doesn't work, then yeah, you're right. Plug them and plant them. You know, that'd be the way it works.
You
Put
just
them on,
lasso them.
let them reside at Boot Hill or something. You know.
Hmm.
So yeah, even Nova, Badman says even Nova admits that she's Earth's strongest warrior. So yeah, I mean, she would do well here. I think she'd get along well with townsfolk that are more peaceful. You know, I think she'd be okay with it. Kind of like she was in Iron City. You know, she was, you know, kind of almost like a people person, I guess. You know, of course, when she first got in Iron City, she'd had no memory, and you know, she didn't. You know, to her, an Iron City would be like us going to, you know, some, you know, like Disneyland or something. I guess I don't know. You know, but I think she'd be fine. You know. Any thoughts there, Lee?
Uh, Nothing I haven't already stated. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Vladi, I think you and Angelus got pretty much the same thoughts about
Yep.
her as a sheriff or a town marshal as a bounty hunter or gunslinger, right?
Alita is the law.
Yes, she is.
I
Yeah.
am the law.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those western towns, they had laws that, you know, once you come into town, you surrender your pistols, your weapons to the, you know, to the sheriff.
Hmm.
Anybody that didn't do that, that would be in the jail,
Yep.
like fast. You know, I mean, it wouldn't.
Or they wouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah,
Alita, Texas Ranger.
well, that's a thought. I think yes, she could do that too, couldn't she?
Yeah.
Is Walker Texas Ranger a sheriff? or is that something different?
No, he's
He was a Texas Ranger.
he's a Texas Ranger.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like the Highway Patrol.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of that for some reason, and also because of the name. I used to watch that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I've seen episodes of that. Yeah,
Good old Chuck Norris.
yeah. You know, they say no, you shouldn't run with scissors unless you're Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Everybody
Chuck
else
Norris
is.
the only one who could probably defeat Alita in battle.
I doubt it. Yeah, he would have a maybe 1/1,000,000th of 1% chance.
If anyone has a chance, it's Chuck Norris.
Yeah, not going to happen. This is
Cyborg
somebody.
Chuck Norris.
This is somebody in the Imaginos body that can beat Thanos. I'm not sure Chuck Norris have a chance. Although I tell you, Chuck Norris he's pretty good, man. When he was younger, he was God Almighty. I used to look up to him when I was in martial arts. You know, when I was a practitioner, I thought, God
Mhm.
Almighty, this guy's good. You know, yeah, I had
Yeah,
immense respect for him. You know, I would have loved to have met him too, but you know, I guess not going to do that now. But anyway,
Alita
I
could
met another martial artist
Yeah.
in Austin, Texas, named Angelus. So anyway,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did not expect you to say Angelus.
yeah, that's right. So okay, so we think Alita would be good as a town sheriff.
Does Alita have access to metallurgy in the Old West?
Probably not.
So she couldn't make like a prison cell made of metal bars.
Can you imagine trying to escape from prison that she's a town sheriff in, or not prison, a jail? I mean, if you escape, she's gonna capture you. You know, you're gonna go back to jail. I mean,
Yep.
she's, you know, it's not gonna be you go in if she arrests you and puts you in jail, you're gonna be in jail. You're not gonna get out. And if you had a gang of outlaws coming there to bust you out, they're gonna be in jail. So, you know, it's
Or more likely dead.
yeah. Particularly if she perceives a threat to the town folk. She's not gonna tolerate that shit, boy. She's gonna take care of that one, you know, for sure. All right, well, I guess we hit that one good enough. Now let's talk about a couple of the others. And I put these up here because, for one thing, I don't think Alita could do them, but I wanted to get y'all's opinion on, like, being an outlaw. The only way that I mentioned this a while ago, the only way I think Alita would ever become an outlaw would be is if, like, she was in the military, or say she was a scout for the U.S. Army or something like that, and they attacked an Indian village, you know, for no reason. I mean, there's nothing but women and children, and then she, you know, basically says, "Oh no, you're not going to do this," and then just wipes out the platoon of troopers.
The cavalry.
Yeah, the cavalry. Then, of course, then the law is going to be not to mention the U.S. military, and the law is going to be after. Of course, they're not going to catch her, you know, and anybody that does catch up.
Well, if they do catch her, it's like there's not going to be any survivors if they do catch her.
Yeah. So, but that's the only way I think she'd be an outlaw. I don't think she would turn to a life of crime, you know, because I think her abilities, she could get a job, you know, I mean, for sure. I mean, think about her working at a livery stable or something like that, just for money, you know, so she could eat.
Yeah.
She could pick up a horse and carry the damn horse into the corral.
She'd have to hide her machine body.
Yeah. I mean,
obviously should stand out if she's trying to hide from
Which
the
wouldn't be
law.
too difficult. They got plenty of clothing types that would cover up all
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
like she's got here.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
now, one thing that would stand out.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you're saying, I think she would be a reluctant outlaw at most. Possibly even depending on the circumstances, maybe even a Robin Hood type outlaw.
Yeah.
You know,
Depending on how that worked
Yeah,
out.
launching raids on
probably start out
the
as a
US
blacksmith's
military.
helper or something like that, you know, and then maybe work her way up that way if she wanted to do it, you know. But I don't think she would be I don't think she would tolerate that because she needs to be challenged, you know.
Mhm.
So I think she'd only do these kind of jobs if she needed to eat.
Yeah, I don't see her being a prospector because prospectors are purely after gold, and she's never really exhibited any interest in material wealth.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't think so either, you know, and I think she'd be bored with it too.
Yeah. Stagecoach driver, it might she gets to work with animals.
Yeah.
She gets to travel a lot,
Yeah, that
and she
or
might even have to deal with the occasional bandit raid, which could be a little bit of, something to liven up the experience a bit.
yeah. Maybe ride shotgun or something. So,
I don't think she'd need anybody riding shotgun.
well, I mean, if you had another stagecoach driver, you know, I mean, she'd probably have to learn
Well, that's
like
what I mean. She wouldn't need to have anybody else there with her because, I mean, if she gets attacked, maybe she's got like a little pail of rocks or something. She just throw rocks at really high speed,
yeah.
and anybody coming at her, knock them off their horses, and just keep going.
But if she did ride shotgun, she probably wouldn't even need a shotgun.
That's kind of what why I'm thinking that
So,
she would do it herself because that's
yeah,
more for her to do, which sort of
yeah,
increases the challenge a little bit.
yeah,
She's got to take care of the coach and deal with the any bandits that decide to try anything.
yeah, and the people in there, she'd want to protect the people in the
Hmm.
this coach, you know. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. I think at some point though it'd get kind of boring because you know stagecoach holdups weren't all that common back in the
No,
old west. You know, I mean,
and they did tend to go familiar routes, so it's something I
yeah,
could see her doing for a little bit at least, just to give it a try, expand her horizons a bit.
yeah,
But yeah, she'd probably move on to something else after maybe a year or so of doing that.
yeah, because it'd be boring. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
okay, well those are
So
the
like, if the stagecoach broke down, though, she wouldn't have to get like a wincher in. She just hold it up by herself.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
It's the
yeah,
wheel.
pick it up,
like,
take off the busted wheel, put the new wheel on, let it zip back
Exactly.
down, get on
Easy.
going.
yeah,
Easy peasy.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she'd be okay in the old west, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think she'd adapt pretty well. You know, I mean,
Well, she's nothing if not adaptable.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'd be what I do think if she did get teleported back to, say, the 1870s,
Yeah.
it would
Mhm.
probably be because remember, she has no real knowledge of history. You know,
Yep.
what I mean, in terms of, you know, we all, when we went to school, you know, we all took history class and we took civics classes maybe and some other stuff, you know, like that, and learned things. Uh, she wouldn't have the same kind of education that we would, you know.
Yeah.
Now she probably, well, she definitely learned how to read because she could read the sign, you know, on Ito's on his
Hmm.
shingle. You know, she read it pretty easily, you know. But I bet she doesn't know anything about America, the U.S., the United States of America, or history about it. I bet she knows nothing about the American Revolutionary War. You know, the
Oh
war
yeah.
with the two wars we had with England. You know,
Hmm.
uh, she knows nothing about Australia. You know, for sure. You know, I mean, she only knows, you know, what she learned when she was on Mars, you know, for sure, you know. So
Hmm.
I think she would find a lot of the environment curious, you know, and say, what
Oh
the
yeah.
hell is this? Look at these buildings. They're made of wood. Now, she'd know what wood is, she'd know what that is, but these buildings,
Mm.
what is this? It'd be confusing at first, I think, you know, but I think
Yeah.
she would adapt pretty fast, I think.
Oh yeah.
Anything else, guys? Any something else you think of that maybe something in the old west? I don't see her being a saloon girl.
Not
Uh,
really. No.
the first time, if she did try it, just see what it was like, and some cowboy got kind of frisky with her, she'd knock him out. You know, I mean, it wouldn't
Hmm.
be it wouldn't be much of anything there.
Well, she did do musical numbers in the Kansas bar in the
Yeah,
Mango.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
So yeah,
yeah,
she might do some sort of performance in saloons
Yeah,
she found it to her
I love
liking.
that.
Yeah, because she can
A
sing.
little something to make a little extra money here and there, and do something that she enjoys.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
she,
watch the what's the show? What's the show where they're like it's all robots and you go there for an experience?
Westworld.
Westworld? Yeah.
Yeah. They had some really cool like covers of in like an old west
Yeah.
cabin style,
Ah,
saloon style, of like modern songs. Sorry, I'm getting really tired now, so I can barely speak. But it would be cool if they did like swan song for that.
Well, she can sing, can't she? I mean, in the manga,
yeah.
everybody wanted to hear her sing. So, I mean,
Mhm.
she could
Well, she
probably
could
do
do
that.
some instruments. Well, she learned at least one instrument in the manga, and she did singing.
Yeah. Yeah. So she could do it, for sure. But it's one of those things I don't.
She might even actually mix things up a lot. If
Yeah.
there was some downtime between other things she was doing, she'd probably do that until maybe a bounty of some sort came along or some other event happened that she needed to become a gunslinger for. She'd probably go back and forth a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably
For
would.
sure. Because she'd get bored doing the same thing anyway.
Yes, you would. Yeah, I think our girl could do pretty much anything.
Yep.
Probably just be a lone wanderer.
I wonder if she'd beat somebody.
If she'd what? Meet somebody. It's a beat.
Yeah, maybe some fella that.
Yeah, for a
maybe-
second there, I thought that was what you said too.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, meet someone. Okay, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no, yeah, no. I mean,
Thought
I
she'd
wonder.
beat a lot
You
of
mean
people,
meet
essentially.
somebody who she would have a romantic interest in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Possible.
it's entirely possible if she stays out there long enough.
Yeah. I mean, she is a female,
And she does have an attraction to men, so
yeah. Of course, I
And
think.
she is very pretty.
Yeah, and I think Channel thinks
She'll
she
be fighting them off.
probably
literally.
would be. Yeah.
well, that's the
especially-
thing.
Fucking
You have a
okay.
lot of guys who take an interest in her, but she's not necessarily going to have much interest in other guys unless they're a particularly standout sort of individual.
Yeah.
It would have to be a rather unusual man for her to take an interest in him.
like Figure 4.
As
Oh.
an example, yeah.
I thought you were going to say like Vladdy.
Or Vladdy. Yeah, Vladdy can do it or Angela, Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think as a
Definitely.
saloon girl, a lot of guys that get their noses broke
Yeah.
start hitting on her, and she don't like that shit. She just
Broken noses and dislocated jaws.
Yeah, that's right. We lost Angelus.
Oops.
Yeah, I don't think she would seriously hurt any of them.
Yeah.
I think she would probably teach them a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Give them something to think
Oh, a
about.
broken nose, a dislocated jaw. If it's like, if they're grabby enough,
Yeah, then they'll get.
then
She'd
something
be
to teach them a lesson that's not going to, seriously hurt them. It might take them a bit to heal,
She'd
but they'll learn a
seriously hurt
lesson.
their feelings though.
Oh, yeah.
Like Japan in the bar. She'd do
Yeah.
a lot of that smack talking.
Yeah, because Zapan, he took an interest in her, didn't he?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That shit didn't work too well.
Yeah.
Nope.
What can I learn from a loudmouth pretty
Loudmouth
boy
pretty
who spends
boy
all of
spends
his
all
money
his
on his
money on
face?
She'd say that to so many of them, but they'd all be ugly as fuck. So
Oh, not necessarily. There'd be some of them out there that are probably attractive.
Well, regardless,
but-
she'd come up with some way of dealing with
yeah.
it.
yeah,
If they're attractive, she'll call them a pretty boy. If they're but I think most of them will be ugly.
maybe. Now, the one thing I think she might not get used to is in the smell in saloons. People didn't exactly take showers or baths very
Yeah.
often back then. Especially a cowboy that's been on a cattle drive.
Yeah, it might be a
for
few
like
days
3
before he got
months.
to wash up again.
Yeah, few days. I mean, these people go like 3 months.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden they're in the saloon. And man, can you imagine the smell?
Mhm.
She probably wouldn't like that too much.
Well, my understanding is they did have some standard of hygiene. If they had a river or something like that, or a
Yeah,
creek,
then they would go
Well, then-
do that. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like some of the eras before then where they
Yeah.
thought bathing was bad for your health or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Zapan was under the impression he had something to teach Alita. Well,
Yeah, she taught him the error of his ways in that regard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he taught her that he wasn't that tough. That's what he taught her. So anyway. All right. Anything else, guys?
I can't really think of anything else that really jumps out at me on that
Yeah, I
regard.
can't either. You know.
No. I need to go to
Well,
sleep.
yeah, we've been going over 2 hours, and Lottie's probably getting sleepy. So
Yeah,
I'm in
hopefully
bed
over this
now. Yeah, I
weekend I'll
brushed
have.
my teeth and everything.
Yeah, just so you know, hopefully over this weekend I'll hopefully finish chapter 25 and I'll get the 3 chapters up.
cool. Yeah, because I'm
Nice.
weekend I'll reread chapter 22 just to get my bearings back. You know.
Mhm.
Oh, there's
Yeah, 22 is the one where she hunts down Fenrir, isn't it?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that fight didn't last long.
I didn't really foresee it lasting long, considering
I
what
didn't
she's
either.
capable of.
He thought it was going to last long, but it didn't.
Nope.
So anyway, that's our girl. You know. Well, Angelus, did we miss anything from your standpoint? We didn't talk too much.
No, I missed something. It's the fact that my mute button and the power down button is not the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh, he's got the creaky disease. He pushes the wrong button.
Wrong button.
Yeah. By the way, guys, did I cut out at any point during the stream?
I
No.
think you
No.
might have a little bit, but it didn't
Oh,
seem
yeah.
like it was very
I
long.
didn't spot it.
Maybe a second or so.
But
Yeah,
I'll
it
tell you,
didn't.
there
There was one
bit of
part where it
buzzing.
seemed like you might have, but I'm not entirely sure if that's actually what happened.
Or maybe I just was silent thinking about what I was going to say, maybe. 'Cause
Possibly.
I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this system to do Radio Chaos tomorrow because the other system, what I think it is that with Windows 11, I think it has what's called transient subroutines that they kick in, and what they do is they preempt all other processes to run whatever they got to run, you know, and that's what I think kicks me out. Because I tried disarming or disabling the VPN on the other system thinking that was going to do it. Didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, this one held up.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
but there is a bit of buzzing from your mic, Creek.
oh, is there?
Yeah.
mean,
What do you think?
but,
Is it just me hearing that?
Let's see. Let me.
I'm picking up a little bit of something, but it's not bad on my end, at least.
Definitely feedback.
How's this? Is this
That's
better?
better.
Okay, yeah.
Wait.
I turned the volume down a little bit on the mic, so.
That's a bit better. Yeah. I can still hear it slightly.
Bad man. The problem with Windows 11 is that it's made by Microsoft.
It's Windows made by Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
that's
problem
right.
with Windows is, well, it's Windows.
You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of functionality in Windows 11 I do like. I like that paint. You know, that it's just a simple editor. You know, for images. But like when you hit print screen, for instance, well, not paint so much, but print screen. You hit print screen, you can select the portion of the screen that you want to copy. You
Yeah, I
can't
always
do
use
that in
that.
Windows 10. You know, so
I
because
use a program for that though.
yeah. But yeah, this seems to have held up, so I think it's what we'll do tomorrow. Well, I guess we didn't miss anything, and as you can see from that center panel there, Alita loves her Uncle Creek. And,
What's the topic tomorrow?
well, let's see. You're ahead of me,
I'll be getting to it.
Bloody. So I got
Sorry, you're about to get to it.
That's all right. I got a slide coming up. You know me,
Let's
Bloody.
just
I
get to
got
the slide. Carry on.
slides.
You've got to get through the rows of pics and everything.
That's right. And of course, I'm going to change these hearts. I got another one that's got 4 hearts and a little "I love you" or "in love" emoji. I'm going to
You
put it.
should have a rose in the middle of the hearts or something.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that's our queen right there. And of course, as I say, boy, I am so excited about going to see her in Pasadena Playhouse. God,
Look forward to
almighty.
hearing what your experience
Oh
was.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, I'm not going to get my hopes up too much on this, but it would be great if I could get a selfie with her. God Almighty.
Right.
But you know, I'm not going to make a fool out of myself to do it. I do respect her privacy. You know, I'm not going to do anything stupid. You know, but
Of course.
it'd be cool if I got that, from her with her, just a nice little quick shot, or maybe they sell, maybe some pictures there of the actors, and maybe get her to autograph it or something. That'd be great. I'd frame that sucker and put it up in my bar is what I'd do. But anyway, yeah, Rosa, she's in the creek, and as I say every week, in terms of being an actress, Rosa is #1 in the Creek's book. And I also want to give, like I do also every week, give shout outs to Elle Lamont and Jesse Fisher. They were Screwhead. They did a great job on that. Excuse me. And we want to see Screwhead in the sequel, and Alita too. Because I think Screwhead is not dead. She's, her core was still intact, her brain, her head was still intact. I think, Doc Ito could repair her for that matter, So I think it'd be great to see Screwhead back in there, and I think Elle and Jesse would love to, be involved with that project, when they greenlight the Alita sequels. And these three are actually very good at what they do. They are just super professionals. But like I say every week, it sure don't hurt that they're pretty, because they are. Angelus, didn't you and I kind of halfway propose to Jesse in that interview? I think we did something like that, And she said, "Oh, I'm already engaged." And we said, "Oh, darn." Of course, that wasn't realistic. That wouldn't happen. But it was fun. We had a lot of fun with Elle and Jesse on their interviews. It was a lot. They were great. Elle stayed with us the entire time. Now Jesse had to leave, but she was with us. She was originally only thinking to be only with us for like a half an hour, and she ended up staying over an hour. So hey, we because they have fun on our streams, So anyway, these three are super duper. Okay, Vladi, here we go. Here's what we're gonna come up with. And this is going to be Alita's favorite and most hated animals. And of course, the Creek has already got 2 animals, and one of them, is going to be a dog, of course. So, and I'll have some pictures of some
I suspect one of the other animals that's going to fit into one of those 2 categories is going to be a certain type of butterfly or moth. Can't remember which exactly, but
yeah, it's that. Yeah, that. What's it called? Death Eyes butterfly or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep thinking Death's Head moth, but I'm not sure that's it. I think it's something else.
Yeah, but it is that. It's one of those critters.
I think you've been playing too much Cyberpunk.
Me?
No, Chaos.
Oh.
Because if it's what I think it is, at the very least, it's one of many sources, if there is more than one, of the Death's Head moth, because there's a reference to that exact wording and phrase in the game, but that's a different story.
Well, I know that butterfly is one that Koshiro is actually really afraid of, so he put it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but the Creek has got 2 favorites and 1 hated. So I'll let you guess what the second favorite is. You probably know what it is, but and I'll give you a little history about it too. So, so when it's my turn, that is. So and Angelus and Maxie and I, of course, will have they'll have their hated and favorite, and I think Channel probably will as well. And I'm going to invite Matu, I think, as well. Matu has kind of been having some health problems, I think. Nothing super duper serious, but something she needs to take care of, I think. So, anyway. But I do send her invites. So anyway, that's that. So tune in tomorrow, Radio Chaos, episode 229. We're going to talk about the animals that Alita loves and hates. So anyway. And to remind everybody, we are the most positive fandom on the internet. We support Rosa and Alita passionately and positively, for sure, And Disney, pay attention to that last bullet down there at the bottom. We are not going anywhere. You're going to give us that sequel, and we're going to stay here. And if the Creek ends up being 900 years old, I'll still be doing 3 videos a week. or whatever comes up in 900 years. So anyway,
Absolute legend.
you bet. You know, God, by then I'll have probably several million subscribers, hopefully.
Yeah, I've been making some AI art of Alita and the Old West as
Yes,
we go along.
yes. And
Maybe
Lottie,
I'll turn it into a video.
I'm downloading that too as well, Lottie. I'm going to put those in yours and QB's, and I guess there's another guy, Avaro, I guess is his name. He had a couple of them came out, you know, and the Creek had a
Yeah,
couple.
there's Langan Thorpe. Is that his
Yeah,
name? Langan Thorpe?
yeah, him too. That's right. Yeah, I think he had a
Yeah.
couple. So,
There's Bob.
I
Crypto
went,
Bob.
yeah, Bob Crypto, yeah, Bob
Nice if we had some real art. But
13, yeah, you know,
it does
you know,
get made. Just obviously, a lot of us in the fandom, we're just like not that talented.
yeah.
So we just make AI art.
Well, I do prefer regular art
course,
done by
yeah.
humans. I mean, because you get to see their impression, you get to see how they
Yeah.
express, you know, what Alita is in their minds. So I really love that, you know. But you're right, we don't get enough of that, you know. And every
It's
now
out
and
there.
then, though, well, I will pick some of the old art from time to time and kind of mix it up a little bit and do a video on it, you know.
Yeah, there is
And
new stuff coming in, just it's in other places.
yeah,
And it is on Twitter, but obviously just in the fandom, it's just us lot.
yep, that's right. So anyway, we are the Elite Army, and we are here to stay. Yes, that only you know, well, it lists more in one thing, I guess. Why is this image here? Well, that image is there because I like it, and I'm the producer and the stream manager. And to paraphrase Gruwishka, I'm only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And of course, all of us in the Alita Army are only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And we lost Angelus again. I wonder if he pushed the power off button this time. Maybe he did. All right. Well, I guess that just leaves one thing, and that's going to be the call to action, and that would be on my count of 3. You got that, Angelus? We're getting ready for the call to action, and we just did this one, Angelus. So just in case just so you don't miss it, because there's Zulu there. So on my count of 3, we do the call to action. That would be 1, 2, 3. Film those sequels, baby.
Cameron.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos, and next week we'll see you on the Alita Livestream.
Take care, guys.
Yep.
Good night.
Data Dagahoya. That's Indian. First till we see each other again.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.